Hello everyone, my name is Heike Hänsel. I was a member of the German Parliament and today I'm speaking on behalf of the Culture of Peace Association. Thank you for the invitation and for organizing the seminar to World Beyond War, the Peace Factory Wanfried. Of the 6 regional US commands, 2 are stationed in my hometown Stuttgart, US Africom and US EUCOM. The people here have never been consulted or fully informed about the dangers involved. EUCOM is also home to the Supreme Commander of the US forces in Europe. It coordinates the major NATO maneuvers in Europe, which train for war against Russia. Numerous wars have been supported from there, like in the former Yugoslavia against Iraq and currently, of course, in Ukraine. Today, in my presentation, however, the focus is on the role of Africom and our resistance. The United States Africa Command is one of 11 unified combatant commands and 6 regional commands of the US Armed Forces, which was established in October 2007. AFRICOM is the overall command of US military operations on the African continent, with the exception of Egypt, which remains part of US Central Command. Around 2,000 US soldiers are stationed here. Since the book Secret War was published in 2013, we have known that not only the US airbase Ramstein with its relay station is important for the US administration's illegal drone war worldwide, but that US AFRICOM also plays a crucial role. Surveillance data is evaluated there and drone missions are prepared, which are then controlled by joystick in the US. It is common knowledge that these drone attacks, which deliberately kill people, often with many other civilian victims, violate both international law and our constitution, and the German government is obliged to stop such illegal activities on German soil and prosecute those responsible. But this has not happened to date. Despite numerous investigations, newspaper articles, researches, and so on, the German government claims that it has no knowledge of any illegal activities by the US Army. Numerous questions that we have asked in Parliament on this issue have also remained without any result, as have charges against the German government for aiding and abetting murder following the assassination of Iranian General Soleimani in 2020 by a US drone attack. Africom website says it protects and defends US interests by strengthening the defense capabilities of African nations. The command of Africom currently is US Marine Corps General Michael Langley. In reality, this means drone attacks and killings in Somalia, Libya, Yemen, regime change operations such as in Libya, securing economic interests by strengthening authoritarian US-friendly governments against people's aspirations for independence, and a regional geostrategic influence against the presence of China and Russia. Especially since the beginning of NATO's proxy war with Russia in Ukraine, this conflict has also been carried over to the African continent, like you can see in Mali, where the Ukrainian military is supporting the Tuareg uprising against the Russia-friendly central government. The Quincy Institute describes how the US military is militarizing and destabilizing Africa. In the past 15 years, the US government has quietly expanded its military footprint across the African continent, engaging in so-called special operations with African troops in the name of security. Since the 2007 establishment of the AFRICOM, the Defense Department's Regional Combatant Command for Africa, the US has adopted a military-first approach to securing its interests on the continent. This has had disastrous effects. Whether it's the seemingly endless undeclared war against the militant group Al-Shabaab in Somalia, or the wave of coups, in many cases led by US-trained officers, AFRICOM has contributed to the very instability it claims to address. And it describes Africa's geostrategic significance that is on the rise. By 2050, Africa is predicted to account for about 25% of the world's population. It contains some of the world's fastest growing economies, and by 2063, the continent as a whole is expected to become the world's third largest economy. According to the UN, approximately 30% of the world's mineral reserves can be found in Africa, along with 12% of the world's oil and 8% of the world's natural gas reserves. Africa is also home to 65% of the world's arable land and 10% of the planet's renewable fresh water sources. Africom is a tool of US imperialism that goes largely under the radar. Its consequences are devastating for the people of Africa. The United States uses its forces in Africa to train their armies of various African countries. Since 2008, at least 9 West African military figures trained by Africom have led coups in their countries. During testimony before the Senate Armed Services Committee in 2019, Stephen Townsend, then commander of Africom, echoed a line favored by his predecessors that Africom maintains a so-called light and relatively low-cost footprint on the continent. This light footprint consists of a constellation of more than 24 outposts that stretch from one side of Africa to the other. The 2019 planning documents provide locations for 29 bases located in 15 different countries or territories, with the highest concentrations in the Sahelian states on the west side of the continent as well as the Horn of Africa in the east. However, the multipolar world is also increasingly taking shape on the African continent, and the US empire must fear for its influence. Recent military rulers in the Sahel are trying to put an end to France-Afrique neo-colonialism and US imperialism and throwing the troops out of the country, like in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, seeking closer ties with Russia. The enormous drone base in Agadez, Niger, from which US Army conducts drone strikes and aerial surveillance across the Sahel and the Sahara Desert, had to close. By the way, it cost $100 million. Now a presence is being established in the Ivory Coast, and the Commander-in-Chief, Langley, has been traveling through Africa for months to form new military partnerships and alliances. But still, in Djibouti, the United States maintains the military base Camp Lemonnier, where more than 5,000 soldiers, civilian employees, and employees of defense companies are stationed. General Langley is quite frankly complaining. Misinformation and disinformation has stoked a lot of instability across civil society and across some of these militaries, for example, across the Sahel. You know, we were there as far as a shared objective to fight terrorism, but then, as you well see, that across the region, the Russian Federation had activities in the information space to be able to effect false type ideologies in civil society as far as the clear intent of what Africom was trying to do to fight terrorism with them, collectively. So I would say that, yeah, from the People's Republic of China across, far as the Russian Federation across the Sahel, it's been destabilizing from Central African Republic all the way into Libya and across the Sahel. Some of those false ideologies, disinformation, has been destabilizing across these countries. And China, they have been known to put out misinformation and disinformation across the continent as well. No comment. Of course, resistance in the region is crucial to overthrow imperialistic power. Nevertheless, Africa must be stopped here as well. I will now give you a brief overview of our activities. After the public was first informed in detail about Africom's role in the illegal drone war in 2013, we launched extensive awareness-raising events as well as protest actions and peace concerts, for example with the Germany well-known musician Konstantin Wecker in front of the Africom headquarters in Stuttgart-Möhringen. We also informed the local councillors in the municipality of Möhringen and achieved a resolution to close Africom and convert it into housing, cultural and local facilities. We also wrote an open letter to the Lord Mayor of Stuttgart and the Minister President of Baden-Württemberg to close down Africom and EUCOM. These US military commands are always a topic at the annual Easter marches in Stuttgart. He contributed and distributed to the very interesting film by the political activist from Senegal and Canada Aziz Fall entitled Africom Go Home, US Bases Out of Africa from 2013, which you can find also on YouTube. We made contact with the Code Pink anti-drone war network and other peace groups so that Medea Benjamin also came to Stuttgart with her book and demonstrated in front of Africom. We mobilized African refugees initiatives that protested against Africom as part of the Causes of Light. And we are also in contact with the Black Alliance for Peace, who welcome the latest developments on the continent. The Black Alliance for Peace Africa team and US Out of Africa network commend Niger for its decision to expel the US Africa Command. We urge all African nations to reject US neocolonialism and remove Africom from their territories. We also express concern over Africom's plan to expand by placing new drone bases in Benin, Ivory Coast and Ghana. We denounce such expansions and call for an end to all military agreements between African nations and the US. US out of Africa. Shut down Africom. Finally, our struggle will continue in order to shut down Africom and EUCOM in Stuttgart. We need peace centers, no military bases. German soil must never again be the source of war. To achieve this, we need to continue to network internationally. This conference is a good opportunity to do so. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.